now, as I get adjusted again, um, today I want to talk about emetophobia, if I'm even pronouncing it right. I don't know. This is a very new concept to me. I haven't known about it for more than, I would say, a year, probably under a year. So, growing up, for a while I've known that I didn't like it when people threw up. And okay, so let me first of all say, what is emetophobia? Emetophobia is basically, in my own definition, is an extreme aversion to throwing up yourself or someone else throwing up. Like, you will do basically anything it takes to avoid it. Um, because it's just, sorry, I've got my tea here. It's just gross and terrifying, inexplicably terrifying, and you really don't want to catch anything of theirs that might make you in turn throw up if it's someone else. And if you're throwing up, then you will do everything you can to fight it and avoid it. That's at least how it is for me. So, growing up, when I was a lot younger, I don't remember having any explicit fear of throwing up. I really never got sick that much, so it's not like I really had much experience with it. And I really don't know when I started developing this extreme aversion to throwing up. And I've been trying to rack my brain for, like, could something have caused it? And could it caused a trigger in my brain to say you don't ever want to throw up? I really don't know. There's different things that could have. One time I went deep sea fishing when I was like 10, I think, and I didn't take any Dramamine, even though something in the back of my head said you should, and I didn't, and I never actually ended up throwing up, but I was nauseous for several hours on that boat, and some other guy was hanging his head over the side, so it wasn't just me. And it was completely unexpected and foreign since, like I said, I rarely ever got sick. So this whole nausea thing is not something that I'm very accustomed to. So that could have caused me to really develop a fear of being sick. Or the only thing that I thought maybe really could have done it was when I was like 8 or 9. I broke my arm. I got bucked off a horse. And it was a bad break. I have a scar. I don't know if I can actually roll up my sleeve to show it, but it was a compound fracture, and so it wasn't just a simple surgery, get the cast, and then leave and go home the same day. I was in the hospital for several days. I don't know if you can't really see it, but I was in the hospital for several days, and the first night that I was there, due to I think the shock, but mainly just the anesthesia that I'd gone under for my surgery, I was nauseous. I woke up nauseous, and I didn't want to wake my dad up to tell him, Dad, I don't feel good. So I actually ended up throwing up a little bit in my mouth. This is really gross, I'm sorry. But it wasn't a lot, and so I actually ended up just swallowing it. I'm sorry, I know this is really gross. And I never told my dad. He found out later, and the doctor found out later. But, and I was very woozy almost the entire time that I was in the hospital. So, like, lightheaded, nauseous, like, anytime that I sat up, I just felt very woozy, and that was just really difficult for me as a little kid, and it was scary, and I hated it. And I think if that was not a turning point for me, that definitely, like, I'm terrified to break any bones, not because of pain. I can handle pain, whatever. It's because I'm terrified of having to go into surgery and wake up nauseous from the anesthesia. That's why I'm terrified of breaking bones. It's not the pain at all. So that could have been very much a turning point for me. I don't really know. And so now, as I've gotten older, because I haven't, like I said, had many experiences with myself or other people being sick, I didn't realize for a long time just how terrified I was of people being nauseous, or throwing up, actually throwing up. But one instance that I remember distinctly was I was like 13, and I was taking piano lessons, and I was standing next to my piano teacher. She was playing, and she was showing me how to play something. And her husband actually came home early from work because he was feeling sick. And he was very nice. He was like, hi, and I was like, oh, the poor guy. But then he went in the back, and like 15 minutes later, he was violently throwing up. Like, it sounded like he was yelling. It was just awful. And all I wanted to do was run. I mean, literally, I wanted to run. Oh, the phone's ringing. hate sales solicitor phone people things. They're annoying. Anyway, so during the piano lesson, literally I wanted to run out the door. Like, I didn't even care about what was going on. It was just inside. I was like this. It was like on the outside, I didn't make it look any different, but on the inside it's like, get me out of here now. I need out of here now. And that's what it really is like. When I'm now, I realize there's this trend whenever I'm around someone that is like, if they're nauseous, if they say, oh, I feel kind of sick, I get nervous, you know, and I keep my eye on them and I get nervous. But if they're actually throwing up, the only thing I want to do is run and leave. And so in college, there were times, 2 different times, where I had roommates who got sick. And during that process, like, I would just, my heart would be pounding, I'd be shaking, and I would leave the room because we'd share a bathroom. I would leave and like sleep in the lobby because there'd be no other way that I could get sleep that night. I'd be just up terrified that they would go into the bathroom and throw up again. So I guess it really is basically a mini panic attack that happens. And I just kind of have to like breathe and just tell myself it's not the end of the world. No one's gonna die. It's okay. But I think part of the terror is like, oh my gosh, what if I get that too? And I do not want to throw up. So actually, interestingly, in Korea, it was such a interesting experience being over there that I just had these consecutive like stepping outside of my comfort zone moments that when we were coming back from Jeju, we were going to board the cruise ship to come back from Jeju to get to Mukpo. I was in the bathroom and I looked like kind of crap, so I was like, well, I'm going to use the bathroom, then I'm going to get out and do my eyeliner, which I never do in the States. I would never do my eyeliner in a public bathroom, but I was in Korea and it's like I need to try to not look like awful. So I was in the bathroom and all of a sudden someone bangs on my door, and being my American self, I just said, yeah. I should have said like, nah, something like that, but I just said yeah, and then they went immediately to the bathroom stall next to me, and I was kind of confused, and then a few seconds later they just started throwing up, and I was on the toilet. Sorry, not to be gross again, but I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I'm just gonna get out of here. I just want to like leave. But then I told myself, no, you're okay. You're not gonna get sick. It's okay. Even if they have the flu, you're not gonna get sick from them, and they're probably just seasick. And it's not the end of the world, so you're just gonna do your normal thing, and you're not gonna speed through anything, and you're gonna leave this bathroom stall, and you're gonna put your eyeliner on like nothing happened. And I mean, I was mentally talking myself through that. It's not just like, it was like, whatever, it's, pour them, whatever. It was like literally, okay, finish up here, go out, wash your hands, put on your eyeliner, pretend not to notice them, just because in America, I would have said, hey, are you okay? But in Korea, I don't think that's what you'd ever do to a stranger, let alone an older person. So I just pretended not to notice. But also, it was kind of just part of my acting like it was no big deal, even though I was freaked out on the inside. So that was the most recent experience I've had with someone being sick, and that was good. But it was very hard, and it's not like I'm over my fear of throwing up. If ever anyone says, oh, I feel kind of nauseous, like it puts up red flags in my head, and I'm like, oh, well, did they eat something, or are they sick with something, and how you doing? 5 minutes later, how you doing? 5 minutes later, how you doing? Like, do you think you're actually going to throw up? Do you think you're getting better? Like, how much do I need to be worried about getting whatever you have? So it's still there, but I hope slowly to be able to force myself to mentally realize that this is just a part of life and I cannot run from it, literally run from it, which is what I've done, and many times it seems like. I just have to face it, but I don't know exactly how to do that other than just forcing yourself to sit still. I don't know if I could ever make my brain not care so much. And I don't know what made it care so much in the first place. But yeah, that's just the way things are. And I'm not sure if that was informative or not, but that's my story. And I wish you all luck who are dealing with this as well. Alright, well, see you later. Bye.